Hello, everybody, and welcome to the DKM podcast. This is episode 33. I have my buddies Danny and Marcos with me.
Hit your
I do
guts.
have a question for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
FSR from AMD. It's revitalized graphics card in the gaming space. How do you guys feel about that? And they
And
discontinued the R9 series all the way up to the Vega 7 series. Or the Vega 64 and Vega 56
Battle
graphics cards.
4K
They're
for
6
a
years old
while.
and 8 years old,
People
respectively.
still buy people still buy old stuff like that.
Oh yeah, but
Surprisingly.
I mean, you can still use the drivers that they have currently available today. They just won't get any more updates. Anyways, how do you guys feel about super resolution?
I've
Honest
tampered with it a little bit. For the audience who don't know what it essentially a super resolution is, it's let's say that you have a 1080p monitor, right? But you have like this overpowered graphics card that's like 10 tiers stronger than what the
FSR
game
is
is.
not that.
Oh, it's not.
No, FSR. So what FSR is? It's a contrast adaptive sharpening filter image sharpener.
okay.
It's going to downres your internal resolution, and then it's going to upsample it from that lower resolution, and then pass a sharpening over it, and pass it's called contrast sharpening, so it'll get in parts of the image and sharpen it. But it's by a frame by frame basis. It doesn't try to um how would I say expect what the next frame's going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, you end up with a blurrier image unless you're playing on the quality preset, which boosts like I think it's like 30%. It gives you a
Mm-hmm.
30% boost in FPS. So like APUs are now running much better. So like let's say the Vega 8 graphics that are in a Ryzen 3000 or a Ryzen 3700X for instance um is actually, it was running at 30 frames. Now it'll be running at 60 frames for certain games that support it, because it's not for every game. It's not like a blanket software. It's only available in settings.
My only concern is if it's going to affect the pricing of any future cards or anything that they're going to come out with this
No,
specific
it's
setting.
free and available to all cards, Nvidia and AMD cards alike. So like it'll work on a 1050 Ti. It'll work on
Mm.
a 980 or a 970. It'll work on the 900 series graphics cards. It'll also work on the RX 480 and up. So like old mining cards from 4 or 5 years ago will be supported by this technology.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, so like let's say you're playing a game on low 720p because your graphics card can't support, 1080p. Now
Mm-hmm.
you'll activate FSR on the game that supports it, because right now I think there's only 7 games. It's very early. It's kind of like DLSS with the RTX and all that.
Right.
Um, apparently it's super easy to implement. There's already a whole bunch of developers that are getting on board because it's widely available and it's going to be for multiple graphics cards. It's just the way that they implement it. Plus, this is the first iteration, just like DLSS when they came out with 1.0 DLSS, which is it's similar to FSR. They're trying to achieve the same thing, but it's more intricate. So like with DLSS, it's they downres the internal resolution, and then with AI, this is why you need the tensor cores and all the RX the RTX features. Um, it upreses it and then adds the detail where it thinks it needs it. So like sometimes
It kind
you'll
of reminds
you'll end up with
kind
a
of
better
reminds me of
quality.
it kind of reminds me of like how Rust players used to play back when the game was still new and the game was like not very well optimized. So you have to like go through all these extra hoops of essentially internalizing the
Yeah.
internal resolution down to like 480p, but then you got to open up NVIDIA like an NVIDIA setting, and then you got to max it back out to 1080p because like Rust is one of those games where it's like you experience like lag in 1 second and then you're on the ground, and then you got to start all over. You got to get your loot and shit like that, and Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that.
But yeah, so like, how do you guys feel about that? They revitalized a lot of graphics cards because the current market and how everything is way overpriced and just unobtainable.
I think
I
more than anything, uh, as long as it benefits not only people who just can't really compete at higher levels of gameplay because they're restricted by their hardware. Because honestly, I could tell you many times it doesn't matter how good your hardware is, even if you have bad internet, you can't even compete in some games because ping is off. Your ping is off. Your everything's dumb when it
Right.
comes to internet access. Like a lot of people can do super well with having a basic rig, but their internet is like 2 gigabytes, right? So they see things faster. They see
two
things
gigabytes.
like imagine you're just 2 gigabyte speed, dude. Just imagine that. There's some places in the U.S. where it's
Oh, you're talking about like the pros have 2 gigabytes of
yeah,
internet. Like,
where there's places
oh,
in the
okay,
United
okay.
States where like hey like yeah we'll give you unlimited freaking gigabyte speed because we could do it,
Yeah,
and
that's what I
these people
have
have
at
an
home. I
advantage.
have I have gigabit internet and it's unlimited, so I don't
I
have any
wish
Even
I had
data cap.
even
gigabit internet.
even with
That's
that
really.
you have an advantage over a lot of people even if they have like beefier builds than you. I think that's
Oh,
fine. I think that's
yeah,
great.
because of ping. So, but here's the thing. Here's a good scenario for that.
Hmm.
Let's say you buy this single player game that's recommended specs are a lot higher than what your computer is, but you're interested in the game and you want to play it. So let's say either you buy it or your girlfriend buys it for you, or family member, whatever the case is. You go and you
Okay.
download it, and you go to start playing it, and it's only running at like 25 frames, unplayable, essentially.
Right.
And you have it on the lowest settings, the lowest everything, because your graphics card isn't powerful enough, as well as your CPU can't help push those frames.
Hmm.
In this
Isn't it
scenario, it would, like, if the game supported it and you activated it, even just with quality, like I said, you get like more than a 30% boost. And if you put it on the highest, which is the worst case scenario, or the lowest setting, which would be, I think it was called ultra performance. um if you have it on ultra performance, it makes the game just look super duper blurry. But that's like a worst case scenario. And then you can bump up the graphics. You can make it 1080p and have it run at 60 frames, if not more.
I have a question about all this. Wasn't the whole process of like streaming games also a workaround where you can play these higher end graphically speaking games, but you don't need the hardware to do so because the game is just being streamed to you. So you're
Um,
just
I know with Nvidia now, that's a possibility, but there's still the add of latency to the game, and you need to have a really strong internet connection. And with the way that the world's internet infrastructure is right now, it's definitely not ready for that. Not on a wide scale, at least.
well at least companies are doing something that you wouldn't expect it to happen where like hey yeah
Oh
we're gonna
yeah.
look out for the guys who can't really like play our games because like for Christ's sakes it's like especially after 2020 all the issues that's happening then and
Yeah,
we're
I mean,
still
a lot of it is a PR move because, well, it's kind of weird because they discontinued graphics cards and then they released this, so they're a good guy and a bad guy as far as AMD goes. But it's supposed to be like a jab at DLSS because it's available both on Nvidia and on AMD cards, and it's
hmm
AMD that came out with the technology to begin with.
hmm
So, like,
I
it's just a PR move to jab at DLSS, saying, "Hey, we don't need these tensor cores in order for you to get better performance off of your game."
I've seen people not like DLSS on some of their games. It just doesn't
Mm-hmm.
feel right to them. Maybe they're just not used to it. But I've heard nothing but good, like for the most part, I've heard nothing but good stuff. So if this is the response to it, then this is just the market being the market, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously, competition creates different ways to tackle certain issue. And if this is AMD's response, then so be it. But I don't think it's going to affect much of anything, to tell you the truth.
I honestly, I think, well, I don't think it's going to affect anything as far as price wise.
Right.
I definitely think in the long run, it's going to kind of bite them in the butt if they don't try and pick up and do an actual DLSS sort of technology where they have, super smart AI reconstructing images. Because
It's almost like a rollback on fighting games.
well, no. It's like just like with DLSS. With Nvidia, the DLSS, they need a direct competitor to that. FSR is, it's great and all, but it's not the same quality.
Daniel, remind me if I'm wrong, but like, isn't that what part of rollback was, where there's only some certain amount of inputs an online game can access or can read? So like, the game or the rollback will probably predict what you're probably going to do next, and then input that for you,
Oh, I
or
heard
whatever it
about
was.
I'm not really the best with that sort of stuff, my guy. I know that that's been like a big point of contention with a lot of fighting games now that like Guilty
Yeah.
Gear Strive is popping the fuck off. But
Such a
from
good game.
what I remembered, it's something about that. Basically, if an input is misread because of some latency issue. Now, again, fuck it. Let me just be safe because let me just be
Just look it up.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up exactly the definition so I don't act like I know what I'm talking about. Here you go. Rollback netcode. Rollback netcode simulates or predicts the upcoming frame inputs. If there's a mistake, the system rollbacks to the correct input. Okay, so
you know who
essentially-
does that? Stadia.
Really?
Oh, because they
Yes.
roll back and then they die in the shell.
Yeah, exactly.
Got him. Got him. Now we're gonna be canceled by Google.
Yeah, we're fucked. Don't worry. Soon you'll be able to listen to us through pirate radio. We'll be surviving on a boat, just me, Marcos, and Kenny.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But seriously though, like
No girls allowed.
No girls allowed.
Is that?
But
But
yes.
I can only assume that the way you described DLSS reminded me of rollback in that code. That's why I brought it
Oh
up.
no,
like,
it has
oh.
nothing to do with inputs. It just has to do with
Well,
like
I'm not saying input
images.
specifically, just frames itself. The game will
I
the game will
gotcha.
register the frames, and yeah.
But
It's
what
like, hey, like-
DLSS is trying to achieve is better frame rate with the same picture quality, if not better.
I think
And
a lot
FSR
of people
is not doing that.
I think a lot of people really underestimate when it comes to frame rates, and especially with PC. People who normally just play consoles don't quite understand the headache that just getting that picture perfect frame,
Yep.
frame window, all that stuff. That honestly, like these little small details that these companies are coming out with,
nuanced. Yeah.
it's a warm welcome. It's definitely a warm welcome because obviously this new generation of console players, people are going to be focusing on the whole 4K or the 60 FPS, yada yada yada. Like people were complaining about how you couldn't play Valhalla at a specific frame rate on what was it, Xbox or was it PS5?
Yeah,
I
it
can't
was
remember.
Xbox. So Xbox was actually running choppier than the PS5.
So people were like either ridiculing Xbox or it was
They
a whole
were
mess.
ridiculing
And
Xbox because of the screen tearing and the frame rate issue.
right, so I think this console's generation, even more so than ever, will have I think a little bit more of a open experience to see what PC usually goes through, because I've
yeah.
heard it many times with PC players like, hey, yeah, I'm doing bad because of my frame rates, and now, like honestly, like it
could
kind of
be
is true.
Yeah, it can also be this. Well, believe it or not, latency with your mouse input ties into
Oh yeah.
FPS.
Isn't that why they have like G-Sync and all that
Yeah,
nonsense?
that's why they
like,
have the Nvidia
FreeSync?
boost and all that stuff is for for the latency.
Reflex and
Yeah.
for latency.
Reflex, yeah.
That's what it's called.
And
I called it boost, but same thing.
It's honestly so busted too if you look at the examples they put out, and people actually like recreating the experiments as well on on the interwebs. Like
Yep.
your reaction time is so much like it's boosted and it's
better,
crazy.
yeah.
It's broken.
Yeah,
It's
playing
honestly
it
broken.
past 60, 60 hertz. Like we were talking about this earlier, is that I played 165 hertz, and like I remember when I was getting into it, people were like saying like, "Yo, like just so you know, once you get past that 60 hertz, going back to playing at 60 FPS is going to feel choppier." and I feel it. Like that's why like when I play games like Apex versus like Warzone. Or Warzone barely, at least in my current setup. But then again, I have seen people that were able to run that game at like 170 FPS, like at all times. Like,
Modern Warfare just came out with DLSS, so like
okay.
I'm running at 200% render resolution, but I'm also running it on quality mode for DLSS. I mean, personally, I don't see a difference because the DLSS is very exaggerated, so it gives it a much more soft look. But it's running faster than what I was running it before DLSS was on Modern Warfare. So it was running, I think, anywhere from 70 to 100 frames. Now I'm getting 150 to 160 frames.
Doesn't DLSS really benefit those with 30 series cards?
30 and 20 series. Those are the only two families that it supports, anyways. But yeah, It helps if you're playing at 4K and you're playing at 8K. If you're playing at 8K, like, God bless you.
Why?
But
why?
That's what I would think. Like, why?
Why would you do this? Want to cook an egg on your computer? Is that what it is?
Because you spend a lot of money on your computer. Especially when you're
playing this on a computer desk, so like you're gonna be sitting pretty close to the monitor.
Well, 8K is only on the TVs right now, so it's
exactly.
Oh yeah.
But it includes so much more clarity than 4K. It's stupid.
Yes, I can see the actual freaking
I
bullet
can see
path.
the sweat droplet of the freaking fly flying in the tornado of the storm inside the eye of the earth. Like,
man,
that's very specific, and I love it.
RTX
even though
Enable Sonic Adventure mod is going to be phenomenal.
Oh yeah, and then I actually streamed on Discord. What was it, yesterday or a couple days ago? I streamed Minecraft RTX.
Yeah.
To a couple people, and dude, it's, without DLSS I wouldn't have been able to play it. I'm just letting you know.
Oh really?
Yeah, I had DLSS enabled.
Oh, Minecraft has that option? I didn't know.
Only on the beta version with the RTX maps.
On Windows 10 and Bedrock
Windows
Edition.
10. Yep, it has to be the Windows 10 version.
I wonder how Minecraft is going to look on
Windows.
Yeah, I was going to say I wonder how Windows. How Minecraft is going to work with Windows 11.
Windows 11.
Wait, you know what? Let's get into this a little bit. What is your first experience with Windows? What is your first Windows, at least home computer experience? I'm generally curious.
I think it was either XP.
I think I had XP too, but this was back in the day where like internet was so bad, and like the only thing I did on the Windows XP was like play like a handful of PC games back then.
I surfed a whole bunch of hentai.
Nice.
Hell yeah! I played a lot of Wild Tangent when it was like a little bit more popular back then, where they had their own PC games and whatnot. Wild Tangent is this for those who don't know, it's this video game developer kind of publisher that had a whole bunch of early PC games that just.
What was your first desktop experience with Windows? Like, which desktop did you use? What brand was it? Because
I think for me the first one was 95 or Vista. I can't remember which one it was.
I was thinking it might have been Vista and not XP, because I remember the start, like where you select your user, it was all like real bright blue, and I believe Vista or XP was the one that started with the opaque taskbar, where it was kind of clear, kind of like Windows 7. I
think a lot more people had more experience with XP because of how not popular, but how common it was to see it in households and in like even in schools.
Well, so, there's a reason for that, because that's what I was going to bring up. Like, I think I had an XP computer, but this was back in the day where like, the only thing I would do was like play Sonic 3 and Knuckles. There was like a cat dog game I used to play. There was a handful of PC games me and my cousin used to play back then. And I remember getting Windows Vista. And Windows Vista was just as bad as like people remembered it. It was like ridiculously slow. It had a shit ton of problems, especially
the driver issues. Oh my lord.
The driver issues. There was I was watching Linus Tech Tip video about
the audio bug.
And the audio bug, or the like infinite RAM usage bug, where like Windows would just be reading like your RAM is at like 100%, even though it's like no, it's intentional. Where it's meant to say that, but it's like most people would just be confused. I think you guys know that like we take for granted this now, but back then when you would open up an application, ask for admin access like every time, and people at back then didn't quite get it, so they would get paranoid, and so they would decline it, and then later you would go through this awkward loop of like opening up the program, and then it wouldn't open properly, and it was always a mess. So yeah, I had Windows Vista, but again, like I said, the only thing I remember doing was playing fucking Fate. Remember Fate?
I played the hell out of it. The second iteration of the game, and even the third iteration, dude.
Remember, but like I always remember you had to put in purple coins in. I think that was because it was a trial software or something.
Yeah. So if you did that, that means you didn't own the game outright. You had to you played basically the demo variant. I think that's what it was, but I own the game and I play the heck out of the game and the second one. I have it on
Steam right now, actually.
Yeah, it exists on Steam. I played it a lot, even though that was my first experience with overhead RPG like title. Where later in life I'm like, oh look, like this other game looks exactly like the game I was playing except different, and that game was Diablo, and I'm like, oh, so wait, Fate copied Diablo. Ah, okay. But I enjoyed the Fate games. That was also a Wild Tangent game. That's Yeah, that's Wild Tangent, if I remember correctly, but that published it. But even then, like that was my very, very first experience with PC gaming as a whole. But I think my first ever experience with gaming on a PC was
Pinball FX.
No, but not just that. My family's business had a computer just there, and there was this little icon, and it was called Castle Games, and it had a whole bunch of NES and SNES games. And I think also Sega Genesis games.
Ooh.
And yeah, I didn't know what it was. I honestly didn't know what it was, and it was there. My brother and I, we loved playing Adventure Island. What was it? Elevator. A whole bunch of NES games and SNES games, and we were just having our fun. We didn't know what it was at the time, but we knew exactly what it was to us, what it meant to us, and it was fun games because we're playing video games, having a blast, and just doing our own thing. So I that was my first experience, and obviously with pinball and getting all these high records and high scores with pinball, flexing on kids because I had got a better score than them.
I just remembered one of the games I used to play a lot on my computer that was clearly not meant to run it was the Spider-Man movie game that came out back in 2002.
The first one?
The first one, yeah. God, I forgot how fucking monotone Tobey Maguire was in that fucking game. He was so fucking bored. Like, he was just like, come on, Spidey, let's dance. And he was just like...
But the narrator, though. The narrator in that game...
True.
I forgot what his name was.
The tutorial. It was only the tutorial when he was like, you know...
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Oh, my God, what was his name? I'm drawing a blank now. Fuck.
I'm trying... Time to look it up, boys.
Ash from Evil Dead.
Narrator.
Ash versus Evil
But Spider-Man 2, the movie, that game was
Bruce Campbell. There you go.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell. Dude, that guy.
So
that guy was such a great voice actor, just in general, dude. Like he's amazing.
But yeah, I did remember playing through that, and then eventually, like I said, Windows Vista was a piece of shit. So I was like, all right, well, this is not fun. I'm not gonna be able to play my games, and you know, it was just not worth it. And like I said, like the internet wasn't quite there yet for us, so I just didn't bother with it. But then eventually, like we did get like for the first time ever in our lives, like fast DSL internet. You know, the one that didn't disconnect if you, for God forbid, your mom still picked up the house phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember playing WoW back then, and that was not fun. You know, you get that sinking feeling like, Mom, please don't. It's probably a telemarketer. Just don't answer. And
Mom, please, I'm in a raid.
No, I wasn't even a raid. I barely hit level 20 back then. But yeah, I can only imagine that must have sucked. So yeah, after Windows Vista, then Windows 7 came out, and that basically became the standard for every computer in our house.
That's true.
And by that point, like, we went through a phase where like everyone had laptops in our house. You know, this is back then before everyone had like desktops. We all had like a bunch of laptops because laptops started becoming more affordable, and they weren't actually like
but they were chunky as hell.
True, but then the other option would have been like a netbook, which my sister had, and it was fucking awful.
Those things
was like
sucked.
They were like a size of an iPad, but like that's the problem though. They ran like fucking dog shit.
Yeah, because they had a single core Celeron in them.
Yep, you could fucking feel that fan like cooking up your sandwiches. You know what I'm saying?
But that was innovative technology.
So speaking about Windows 11 is coming out, and they're requiring this thing called the TMP module. and you might actually be able to just buy a module and plug it into, I think, a USB header or something like that on your motherboard for you to upgrade to Windows 11 because of how aggressive they're being with this encoder.
I wonder what
what TMP does is it stores and encrypts all your personal data and all your passwords and user accounts and all that stuff. That's where all this stuff stores on your computer. And that's now what they're requiring is 2.0, and a lot of people don't have computers that are 2.0 capable. It was mainly a commercial market that had that, and now they're requiring for consumer markets. So anybody that's listening to this podcast, walk over to your computer, hit Windows R, and then type in caps tpm.msc, and then hit enter, and it'll tell you whether or not you actually have a capable computer for Windows 11 or not. Unfortunately, I don't, and I'm pretty sure all three of us don't. And there's actually quite a lot of people in the world that don't, but if you do, congratulations.
If you guys remember when Windows 10 first came out, it wasn't one of those things that everyone went to right away. Everyone was just like, "Oh, that's nice. I like my Windows 8."
Yeah, I like my Windows 7.
Hold up. I remembered people absolutely hating the shit out of Windows 8. Like, that's what
Marcos had Windows 8.
Right. I mean, Windows 8 wasn't that bad.
8. I had it was awful.
bad.
I'm talking about Windows 8.0, not Windows 8.1. Windows 8.0 was fucking dog shit. Holy shit! I never wanted to like.
Honestly, though, Windows 11 looks a lot like iOS, or not iOS, Mac OS.
That's concerning.
Yeah, I sent the link to you guys.
That was the thing why I brought up the whole like experience of Windows 10, because you know why I think Vista is so fascinating is because clearly I'm pretty sure you guys remember this commercial, and I'm only going to say it. It's only need to say 2 sentences. Hello, I'm a Mac and I'm a PC.
Oh my
Instantly. God. That worked. I got suckered into it. I was like, wow, that's a good fucking point. Like, Macs are affordable. They're
Macs?
Macs are affordable?
No.
Wait a minute.
You're right.
Wait a minute.
You're right.
Wait
But
a minute.
to be fair, though, I'd rather pay more for a product that wasn't a buggy piece of shit than one that isn't.
This is true. Yeah, Apple has that. It's always had that polish.
Yeah, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
But my point is, though, is that commercial was so significant back then because it's a good time to strike while the iron was hot. Windows Vista was very controversial. It was very buggy. There was all this confusion with it. And like, I was rewatching those commercials literally at my job, and it was like a 40-minute compilation. I watched it from beginning to end, and I was like, wow, like that's some smart marketing. Like they explain it like very simple. Like my favorite ones was that like, oh, I have to renew my drivers and this and that. I got to like spin the wheel and like depend on which version of Windows I want to get and stuff. And I was like, man, that's some good marketing, So when Windows Vista fucking bombed, they eventually had to recover, and then they made Windows 7, which I think most people would agree that it was probably the Windows that most people stayed on the longest that wasn't XP. Because like XP had its like refreshes over the years, XP 95. I mean not XP. Like we had Windows XP. Wait, XP came out but after 98, right?
I think so.
Yes, XP came out after 98.
Okay, so
because
my point was
it went 95 XP, or I'm sorry, 95 98, and then it went to what was it, 2000, Windows 2000 or Windows ME, and then it went to Windows XP, or no, I'm sorry, Windows Vista, then XP, I believe it was one of the two.
But yeah, the point I'm trying to get at was that like with Windows Vista bombing so hard, and then 7 came in and basically said, okay, we're going to take all the good things from Windows Vista, make it more simplistic, and also make it better for everyone else.
And more eye-pleasing.
And more eye-pleasing, right? And it's not a fucking eyesore. But then later, they was like looking at Apple and like, man, that tablet market is really popping the fuck off. Let's make a whole operating system, but with a tablet design in mind. But here's the problem, though: if you're using a Windows desktop computer, that fucking design is an eyesore. It is confusing. It's over cluttered, and unfortunately, though, that same design went into the Xbox interface. That's why I could never get into it, because I get like Windows 8 Vietnam flashbacks whenever I boot up an Xbox One. So
Well, the Xbox One now, the interface is much different than what it was, 7 years ago.
Xbox One.
Yeah, even the Xbox One. The Xbox One all the way to the Series X is the exact same
Xbox One
interface.
was like Windows 8.0, but like for a console.
No, Xbox 360, the last iteration was Windows 8.
Oh yeah, when they started like shoveling like ads in front of your fucking home screen. Yeah.
Yes, but that was Windows 8 Metro UI.
That's true. That's very true. But that's like the problem, though. Microsoft says, let's use an operating system that was designed for tablets, but use it for a desktop and also use it for a console. You don't do that exactly. Like, that's some lazy shit right there, at least in my opinion, right?
Speaking about tablets, even though Microsoft released the tablet first, like, no one cared because Apple did it so much better when they released their iPad. I'm not sure if you guys remember that.
That's true. I mean, like, yeah, that is true. But that's like what Apple's shtick is that they take something that already existed and then later they kind of like simplify it and make it more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And pretty much, but then later they start getting lazy and be like, well, let's just put less features and cost more. But that, I digress.
People were complaining
so going back to
about
my
stuff
tangent
like that,
about
yeah.
Windows 8, a lot of people, I remember back then, if you got into PC gaming when Windows 8.0 was out, there was a big debate about which Windows do you get. Do you get the one that's the most current but is an eyesore, or do you get the one that's, ancient but still reliable? I remember, God rest his soul, Total Biscuit, like that guy, he was stubborn. He hated Windows 8. He didn't want to leave Windows 7 no matter how hard he tried. Like, he was like, I'm gonna stay on Windows 7 no matter how long it takes. But eventually, like, Windows 10 comes out, and then later all this stuff is like requiring, like, games are straight up asking like, hey, you got to do it. But then again, that was always been a requirement since even back then of Windows 7. Like, there were people back then who didn't want to like upgrade to Windows 7. They want to stay on Windows XP because they like it. And then later, like, games like TF2 were coming out like, hey, you need to be on Windows 7 if my memory was right. And they're like, well, fuck that, we're gonna mod the game in order to play it on Windows Vista or XP if we want to.
I was going to bring that up because one thing about Windows 10 that people didn't immediately hop over to was, one, because they didn't like it. And the only reason why Windows 10 became a staple now in the computer industry was, one, they sort of fixed it. And then two, they were forcing people to say, hey, like, Windows is going to force you to do Windows 10. If not, you can't use some applications. It is what it is, but sucks to sucks. You better go do it now. So that's why now Windows 10.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially. So I think what's going to happen is, if Microsoft is going to put this very strict requirement on Windows 11, again, I haven't really seen like anything about Windows 11. I haven't seen like the OS or anything like that. But if they're putting that super hard requirement, they're going to obviously have to incentivize people to switch over. And have they said anything about ever doing like a free upgrade?
Isn't that what they did with Windows 10?
Yeah, but I think they're going to do exactly what they did with Windows 10. If your computer can
If you're going to
support
do
it.
that, folks, let me give you a personal advice. Do not do just the upgrade. Wipe the shit out of your computer. I did it once, and I fucked me up so badly. For the love of God, your antivirus software protected you from viruses that protected you for that current OS. But if you upgrade your shit without wiping any of it clean, your ass is going to be completely obliterated.
I
Really?
didn't have that issue.
Oh, I did. It was not fun. It was, and also
Stop
it didn't help me,
pirating stuff.
well, that too, and also, well, that was because I was a kid, and secondly, it was more like, it was just that when you're moving everything from a 3 terabyte hard drive, mechanical drive, mind you, to another operating system, that shit could take days. So it's don't do it.
Well, if you're on SSD or something like that.
Well, yeah, back then SSDs were still pretty fucking expensive.
This is true. Yeah, that's true.
So that's why, like, I did the dumb thing. I was like, well, I'm gonna go to bed. Let me just go ahead and upgrade to Windows 10, and then later I was gonna go to bed. I wake up and the thing's still like 20%, and I was like, oh fuck.
Oh boy.
So I just had to like turn on and off the computer. Eventually, I just had to wipe the whole thing clean and start all over.
That's not fun.
No, it wasn't. It
I
was a
think-
pain.
Yeah, there was a point where you're able to get, like, much like with Minecraft, you were able to get the Java, like either Java or Windows 10 edition for free if you already owned Java or one of the editions, and then after this point you weren't able to. Much like with Windows 10, there was a period where like, hey, you can upgrade for free. Why not? And people who missed that window, well, now they have to either buy a computer that already comes installed with it, or they have to pay for it in order to upgrade.
Right.
It is what it is, but I think with this Windows 11, obviously it's going to go through the same process that Windows 10 went through in most recent memory, because I think we were in high school when Windows 10 was released. It's obviously going to be out on the public. It's going to be beta tested to hell, dude. And they're going to tweak whatever they can, whatever they want to tweak, if people are complaining enough about it. And then once that's done, then they're gonna start slowly but surely. It's like, hey, you should download Windows 11. Then you're like, nah, I'll do it later. And then much like with those updates, those Windows updates that we get on computer often, it's like, no, you're gonna restart now because we say so. And we're like, all right,
Right.
cool. Now I gotta restart my computer in order to uninstall install this new OS. I just hope that this OS doesn't really screw the pooch with a lot of things. I wonder how it's going to work professionally in a lot of environments, like recording environments, with people who are creating music, with their whatever studio software that they use. I wonder how it's going to affect businesses transferring over to this new OS, if it's even geared towards them. Who knows? But
Will Nintendo finally upgrade from Windows XP to their video game servers?
oh boy, is that really? Is that true?
Yes,
that true?
That's seriously true. They're running Windows XP on their servers to basically run Splatoon and Smash Brothers.
Oh,
And that's not really, to be fair though, that's not even that like out of the ordinary. You'll be surprised. Like there was a big hubbub about like when Windows Vista was finally dying out, that like a lot of government buildings were still running Windows Vista. And for those who do like networking and shit like that, if you had to manage an entire building with all these different computers, dude, like switching everything from one operating system to another operating system takes a lot of time and money. So it's understandable. Like when I was working at a call center, they were still running Windows 7, and like this was in 2014. So like that was
Yeah,
like
that's
kind of a shock. Like,
that's just like GameStop. GameStop's still running Windows 7 now.
yeah,
really?
it's a process.
Yeah.
It's a lot of time and money, and you kind of like, it makes sense because like, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to download the new operating system that could give you a 50-50 chance of improved performance, or it could slow it down, and then you have to like install the software, get everything set up, get all the networks up and running and shit like that. It's a process. So like I remember there was like an article talking about that, like when Windows Vista finally was like, all right, no more updates, this thing is no longer getting help, nothing like that. A lot of government buildings were like, hey, we're running on Windows Vista, like we need a time frame because it's a process, you know.
Yeah.
That's true. I think more than anything, there's going to be a point where much like with a lot of companies, they're just say, "Hey, this is our new product. Get to it," because it's been out for long enough. Forget about the old. Start doing the new stuff. A lot of companies have this issue with what are these things called? A lot of softwares to create invoices or parts orders or part order pickup tickets, where like a lot of people get used to a specific kind of a method and UI, and once there's a new upgrade and then the company forces all the employees to use this new UI, productivity goes down, sales goes down, because people are still trying to get used to this. Even 30-year-old veterans who barely know how to run a computer or work around a computer, and all they know how to do is just go by muscle memory, they struggle the most with these kinds of upgrades, because it's what's the word? They're not concerned about all these new gadgets, all these new bells and whistles. They're more concerned about, great, now I have to unlearn everything I just have to force myself to memorize in order to do all this new stuff. And it sucks for a lot of people, but I hope Windows 11 is favorable to these old timers, because honestly, like, not a lot of people are really good with computers anyways.
Yeah,
So-
this is true. You know, the way that it looks like Chrome OS. I'm going to be very honest with you.
Oh man, the Chromebooks.
Wait, really?
It looks a lot like Chrome OS, and it looks a lot like
That doesn't-
like Mac OS. Like
That
if you
doesn't
click
sound
on
good
the
at
link
all.
that I sent you, and you scroll down, there's screenshots. And those screenshots.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Like the bottom is like that. You guys remember? Oh my god, what was that tool called? That like it's just supposed to simulate that bottom tab that Mac OS has. It's called like Rocket
Tool?
Jump or something like that.
I didn't
What?
even know that there was a tool.
Yeah, it's like okay, so because I used to work when I was in high school. I used to take a film class, and we had to use Macs. Now I was a
Right.
stubborn fuck. I used to bring my laptop and just run Sony Vegas because I just did not want to use iMovie. And you guys remembered that? Well, I don't know. You guys have probably used Macs at one point, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have. I have to use my fiance's MacBook Air.
Um, what's it called? It's like the bottom bar where it's like these images and shit. Like look up like the really old ones.
I know
Yeah,
what you're
like
talking
something.
about. I know what you're talking about.
Right.
It pops up.
There was one
and,
that's supposed to simulate that, but for
what, for
but for
Windows?
Windows essentially.
I
Hmm.
gotcha.
Windows. What's it called again? Oh my god, was AppDoc on Windows. Oh, it's called. Well, no, this one's different, but I remember this one's called Aquadoc. Aquadoc. There you go. But yeah, I can see what Kenny's talking about. Like I was looking at the screenshots. Like yeah, that's the first thing that caught my eyes. That like your taskbar
Hmm.
is like dead center, and like that's where all your applications are. So I can see where he's talking about.
Um, I just wonder if a lot of companies are doing this whole simplistic view when it comes to their logos, when it comes to their marketing, their websites, and all that stuff, which is a new age thing, obviously.
Yeah.
But I am not really, I don't really care about it, to tell you the truth. Like people are complaining how like the Pringles guy, the Pringles logo is now just a basic logo. People don't like it, at least for the most part. People who grew up with the old school ones. You can look at the Windows logo. It's just a square with four little squares around, like
Yeah,
inside of
yeah.
it. It's just
The new
it,
one, especially Windows 11, has that very very simplistic. It's just a
that
square
one.
with four squares.
Right.
Like
But even like people aren't enjoy like maybe some people are people enjoy that simplistic aesthetic. That's why they have like houses that have that same aesthetic. You know what I'm talking about? The
yeah,
super simple houses with
modern.
windows,
Yeah, just
basically.
squares. It's all
I
angular.
I Yeah, I personally don't like it, but I mean, it is what it is, you know? Because, like, if people are down for it, willing to spend their money on it, then sure. But I think
Then
that's
you
what this
must
new
really
OS is
like
going for.
you must really like the look of the PS5 because it's something big and different.
I really don't mind. I'm just talking about logos in general when it comes to, even when it
Hmm.
comes to the new Microsoft Windows 11 OS, how it looks like how you said the Chrome OS. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're trying to be simplistic in their approach. People like simple designs. It looks like none
yeah,
of
they
this
are.
none of this whole like complicated art and whatnot. It makes people brains hurt.
Well, yeah, because they're not trying to be the '90s anymore. They're trying to be the
Yeah, that's true.
future.
I mean, if
I
the future
wouldn't
is
mind if they went
simplistic, I
back
guess.
to the '90s, and I'm cool with it.
I mean, you can look at the phones too. Phones are the exact same way as well, where they
Oh yeah, but phones nowadays are more simple because they're just a big old slab of glass. And before it used to be a flip phone, or you had the Sidekick, which those would twist flip. I don't know how to explain that one. Then you
yeah,
had
that was great. Freaking
yeah, and
sidekicks.
then you had the Sidekick Slide, which was a sliding phone. Like you just had some cool stuff. I mean, nowadays there was the LG, what was it, the LG Sidewing or something like that. It was kind of like the
Hmm.
Sidekick with a swinging screen,
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and it's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. It's like it'll turn to the left, and then it'll be like you'll have a portrait mode and a landscape. So you'll have a landscape mode screen on top and a portrait on the bottom. Pretty neat.
People are enjoying
I
the newer, what's that called, the Galaxy Fold or whatever it's called, where it's two
Yeah, I was
screens, but you can
interested in
fold
the fold, man. I really wanted it. It's not two screens, it's one screen. It just
or
folds in
one
half.
screen. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw. Wait, no, I forgot what phone I saw. It's literally two screens together. Not together. They're separated by a little divider where the phone hinges
Oh, I
on.
could tell you there's one that's called the Kyocera, but it was
I
like
thought it was
old.
Nintendo
The
DS.
Kill Sarah, I like it.
Kyocera.
Oh, but the phone I saw was, yeah, it's basically almost two screens. But people seem to enjoy this mini tablet thing that tends to fold. I think even PewDiePie had it at one point where he's just has his phone like that, and I'm like, I guess it's got to be one of those things where you have to like really get used to it. But I don't think I can ever get used to it because
Mhm.
I'm always carrying things in my pocket that tends to be like a little bit more beefier than normal.
Is the Galaxy Fold like a one-time deal? Because like, wait, hold
What-
on.
It
What
was
do you mean a
called
one-time deal?
the
Oh,
Kyocera
wait, no, there's another
Echo.
one. Okay.
The Kyocera Echo. It was a 3.5 inch, 800 by 480 pixel screens, two of them.
Mm.
They were both touchscreen, and you can literally you fold with a hinge. You fold one screen in front of the other one, but it was offset if you did that. And the
Man,
battery life
I-
sucked.
I was
And for two
I was
screens.
going through.
What?
I was watching a Stop Skeletons from Fighting video on the N-Gage. You guys know about the N-Gage?
Yeah, I know about the Engage.
No.
The taco phone.
What is that?
The taco phone. All right,
The
so this
taco
was back in the
phone.
day. Let me see. When did the N-Gage come out?
It came out in the 90s, believe it or not. It was supposed to be like a competitor
Well,
to
no,
the...
it came out in 2003.
Well, I think the original one came out earlier in 2003.
Oh,
Well, as far
I
as, like, the
remember.
Yeah, the
Wasn't there a
N-Gage
Kingdom Hearts
device-
game on this nonsense?
No, that was a Verizon thing.
Good old taco phone. Okay, announced in 2002, released in 2003.
2003.
Yeah.
Because like I highly recommend you guys watch the Stop Skeletons from Fighting because it really goes into detail like why this phone failed, how much of a fuck up.
You
it
know
was,
why?
and
It's because it was a
girl.
phone first and then the gaming console afterwards.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to
Yeah,
pull out the battery in order to change the game.
Oh,
Which they
boy.
finally fixed with the refresh model. It
Yeah,
barely,
the
it barely
QD.
sold units. Like it did really bad. Like really, really bad.
Because when you think
Oh,
of a phone,
boy.
you want a phone. You don't want a gaming console and then a phone. You want it to just be your phone.
Well,
It
people
really
are playing
wa-
games now on their phone.
Yes, but it was
That's-
ahead of
that's
its
such a fast-
time.
Yeah, like it was, the N-Gage walked so the iPhone could run essentially, like the App Store could
Yes,
run,
essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was back in the day where like, if you wanted to play video games, you had to carry a place, the PSP was announced around that time, so that
Fun
already
fact. Fun fact. The original Call of Duty Mobile was actually on the N-Gage.
Oh, really?
there's
Yes.
there's an Elder Scrolls game that's exclusive.
Yes.
to N-Gage.
Yes. it was
Really?
a- it's a-
So
yes.
Todd Howard's probably like, wait, what? We could have
Ew.
released this again?
Ew.
Get it?
Oh, my lord.
It's not a port. It's an original game.
Yep.
They're really...
Todd's gonna be like, "What do you mean we didn't port it to the N-Gage? Get Skyrim on the N-Gage." But sir, it's been discontinued. I don't care.
Yep, here
I
it is.
wonder what they'll do with
Elder Scrolls
Skyrim's 10th
Travels.
anniversary.
What? Wait, what do you say? What they're gonna do for the 10th anniversary of Skyrim?
Oh, they're
Yeah,
gonna
probably
release.
nothing.
They're
Re-release it.
no, they're
That's
releasing Starfield on it.
Oh, true.
Wait,
But that's
really?
probably
Yeah,
it probably has
Starfield
wait,
had the
you know what?
announcement date of
In the
11/11/22.
in the spaceship. There's gonna you turn right and there's an Xbox 360 with Skyrim pre-installed.
And then you can
Oh
play
my.
Skyrim.
And then you just
The
see
full
Todd's
game of
face.
Skyrim's actually in the game,
Yeah.
so you can play Skyrim.
And Todd's face be like, you thought I wasn't gonna put it in here.
You thought you weren't buying another copy of Skyrim. I got you wrong.
Got you, bitch.
You fools. Utter fools! Oh my god, freaking Todd Howard, we're gonna get kicked.
Yeah,
But
he's
it's
gonna,
like, yeah,
he's
so
gonna freaking.
The N-Gage. That was interesting. Let me look up the N-Gage girl. This was fucking hilarious. God, the fucking.
Can we
E3
just stop and
presentation.
talk about the Samsung girl? What's her name? Sam?
No!
Everyone sipping
Yeah, the
No!
Rule 34 character. I mean,
Oh, yeah, dude.
Kenny, no!
What?
I hate your guts.
Can
God,
we look up
dude.
the N-Gage girl.
No, the Samsung girl.
Oh yeah. No, there was a girl that Nokia paid money to. I'm gonna show you guys in the chat that
Oh,
they
yeah?
paid her to be like, hey, come on stage, take off your shirt, and show us the price tag. And she was wearing a bikini.
Oh
That was-
my lord.
Man, you can't get away with that with modern E3. People would have a fit over it.
$2.99.
Yeah, and around that time, the PSP was just announced. But hey, at least they poured a pandemonium from the Sega Saturn to it. Hey.
Range.
I would like to own one of these N-Gage game cases. They look so cool. There was Sonic N. There's
Yeah, there
Sega
was a
Plus
Sonic
Now,
game. Yep, that's exactly
which
right.
was just a port of like Sonic Advance, but it was like
Real crappy.
not widescreen.
Yeah.
So it brings up the question like, so what if you were to play a Sonic game?
It wasn't the right aspect
Portrait
ratio.
mode.
Had they had turned the screen sideways,
No, it's you
It
still
would've
played
been
it right.
better.
Like, by the way, this is the Elder Scrolls game I was talking about. The Elder Scrolls Travels
Yeah,
Shadow
yeah.
Key. That
The
was
Elder Scrolls
an
Travels.
exclusive. Which what was I
Shadow
saying?
key.
Yeah.
Jesus.
No, basically you press a button and rather than being full screen, it would minimize itself and basically letterbox it.
Oh god.
Oh. Oh, okay.
And then there was the Tony Hawk 1 port on it. That was pretty cool. And then they
Wait,
also
really?
sold, Tomb Raider 1 on it, so that's kind of cool.
I could have sworn there was a Kingdom Hearts game on the mobile phone, dude.
No, it's the Verizon one. I know what you're talking about. Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, can we all just sit back and talk about the Elder Scrolls Redguard?
Oh yeah.
Elder Scrolls
Redguard?
Adventure Redguard, yeah.
It's called Kingdom Hearts VCast. There you go.
Hey, look,
No,
designers
no.
Todd
Didn't they
Howard.
release the? No, they released the main game. Wasn't that a? I
Redguard
can't
was
remember the game now.
for MS DOS, just so you guys know.
Okay.
Wait, what the hell is this? The Elder Scrolls Legend Battlespire? MS DOS? I never heard of that game.
Oh, that's like one of the earlier Elder Scrolls games.
Yeah,
All I heard was like
yeah.
this dog
I
shit.
know Arena. I knew of Arena and Daggerfall, but not a lot of
No one
people
talks
know
about
about.
because it was that bad. It was that bad. Again, I've only seen Razorfist's review of it, but like he just said, like, yep, this game is a massive waste of time. They should be contracted to melt every disc that they find to reuse the plastic, so it's actually.
I really
useful
want to
for
see a
something.
list.
Oh, Elder Scrolls came out with a card game?
Did they?
I remember
Ew.
Did they really?
Yeah, it's called the Elder Scrolls Legends.
What?
Do you guys remember? You know what's crazy? I thought this was a Mandela effect, but do you guys know there was a Kingdom Hearts card game?
Are you talking about not the one from
Didn't
Chain of
last very
Memories,
long.
right? This is a different one.
No, like it was actually like a Kingdom. Like that was the first thought process. It was. I remember too. I was going to Target with my pops, and back then I used to get Yu-Gi-Oh cards and shit, right?
Yeah.
And I saw that they had a pack of Kingdom Hearts cards. I don't have them with me anymore, but I was always wondering about that. It's like, man, why do I feel like those things like came and went like really quickly? And it's like, yeah, that's essentially what happened.
I
It was
sort of
like- I think it was an
remember
American
seeing
thing.
cards or
thing.
something
I don't think it like it
to
took
that
off in
effect,
Japan.
but I can't put my finger on it. Like,
I only found like one YouTube video that explains the card game and the rules. It doesn't look like they really got far into it because they were still like using Kingdom Hearts
much
1
like the,
art, like, at the end of
much
the day.
like
I don't
with the
think they
Dragon
ever
Ball
got
Z
to, like,
card
Kingdom
game.
Hearts 2.
the rules were sort of janky at the beginning.
Can we talk about Yu-Gi-Oh and how janky that was?
No, the
At
show was
beginning?
janky. The show was janky. They
No,
made up their
yeah.
own rules.
The show is super janky.
They made the rules as they go.
Exactly.
To be fair though, the source material was like the manga was just like they put every other game. Like the card game wasn't even.
It
like,
was a
the
pretty
main
dark manga
attraction of
too.
it.
Lots of violence, dude.
Yep. And
Have you
Season
seen
Zero anime.
Pokemon's
Well,
freaking
that's
manga?
Pokemon Adventures is different, dude.
Oh yeah. that's-
It's really good though. It's really
Dude.
good compared to Yu-Gi-Oh. It's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, like it shows Pokemon decaying and dying and like blood
Getting
and,
fucking-
I love it.
and murders
heads
and
chopped off.
stuff like yeah.
actually
dude, it's
a really
crazy. It's like
It-
this
well-
is Pokemon.
I mean, it's still a really good series. You get to follow the adventures of Red, and it's honestly like, dude, it's such a great like manga. They'll never have an anime adaptation. I highly doubt it because
But wait, I like Pokemon Origins though. I thought that anime was pretty. Not like okay. To be fair though, it was more like faithful to the actual games. Like my favorite moment in the entire anime, aside from the screaming Charmander, that shit was traumatizing. What the fuck was that all about?
Charmander.
No, not that. It's like that poor bastard's just getting his face mauled off, and Red's like, understandably, visibly shaken. He's just like, oh fuck, I'm actually making this poor bastard get his ass beat. Like fuck. My favorite moment is like when Blue's like talking to Red. He's like, Red, you can't just go in there and stop a terrorist organization because you're a kid. He's like, fuck are you? I'm gonna do it anyways. And then it cuts and he actually succeeds. And he's like, wow, you actually did it.
wait, really?
Yeah, that's literally the scene. Like he's standing right outside of the Pokemon casino, and then later like he's talking to Blue. He's like, "Oh, I gotta go in there because that's where Team Rocket's hiding." He's like, "Red, like get the police involved. You're a fucking kid. Like what are you doing?" He's like, "No, I could do it." He's like, "You
Imagine
can't
being
do
such an
that, Red," and Red
insignificant
does it
mafia
anyway.
mobster gang that you get off screen to buy a kid.
He's also a gym leader. I never quite understood how Giovanni also was a gym leader while also running a criminal organization.
I mean-
Oh my goodness! Microsoft Office is getting a new design and a native 64-bit
Wait,
version for
you-
Windows 11.
I wonder.
Oh, thank God! I really. When is the patch? Wait, when's the patch notes for Windows for Word? I'm waiting for the new Word patches.
Fix it.
You know when the English dictionary gets updated?
When are they gonna nerf my fucking syntax?
Fix
That
an
shit's been
issue
driving me
where
nuts.
people who were able to edit profiles together.
I'm getting so fucking annoyed getting DDoS.
Can't
out
wait
of
to
my
see these
ranks,
new
man.
meta
This shit is
patches.
driving me nuts.
Can't wait. Freaking love it.
2021 best meta deck for Windows Word.
Oh crap! I can't wait for Wait. Was
Oh,
there
dude,
a
what- wait.
What?
I just thought of something hilarious. What if we do like, all right, guys, welcome to my Twitch stream. We're gonna go ahead and do a world speedrun test of my divorce contract. So we're going for the top world record here. Fuck you, bitch. Send. All right, good. Keep the kids.
Wait. Correct me if I'm wrong, but was it Windows 8 or Windows 10 that introduced 64-bit on your on the OS? Because if that's the case, you think Windows 11 is going to go even higher in bit? No, you don't think so?
No. We're going to
64-bit, 32-bit, 16-bit, 8-bit.
What is this? Australian Classification Board rates id Software's Project 2021B, whatever
id
that
Software?
is. The new project is rated M for violence and online interactivity. Yeah, from id Software, the people that made Doom Eternal and Doom 2016. Yeah, it says id Software fans are speculating about what appears to be a new project in development following the discovery of an Australian Classification Board listing for something called Project 2021B. The game, which is rated M for violence and online interactivity, is a multi-platform computer game, in quotations, being developed by id and set to be published by ZeniMax Europe.
I love it how...
If the odd title rings a bell, you may be thinking of the Project 21A, another id Software, or 2021A, another id Software development discovery in January. Also, through the Classification Board website that's being published by Bethesda, there are several differences though. Project 2021A is rated R18+ for high impact violence, and its media type is virtual reality, leading
It's been a while.
18 plus. That's interesting,
leading
'cause
sites like Tech Radar to predict that Doom Eternal VR game is in development. Holy crap. 2021B, on the other hand, appears to be a conventional video game, and its rating comes in a lot lower than either Doom, the 2016 version, or Doom Eternal, which both are rated R18+ for high impact violence and blood and gore. That's 2 full tiers higher than the 2021B's M rating. M and R18+ are separated by the MA15+ rating, which is given to games with
All I
strong
know is
violence.
that I love how the ESRB
possible.
says, hey, if we had to rate online interactions, all of our games would be rated M. Because we know exactly what you say online. We know exactly what goes on there.
Yeah.
You ain't gotta hide it. We know all those slurs. Come on. Have you seen Modern Warfare? Have you
those
seen
gamer
Modern
words
Warfare?
in the gaming dictionary?
Have you seen Modern Warfare 2?
It's a blast. It's a blast. Of course the ESRB isn't gonna cover it. Of course not. Too dangerous. It's too much power.
Well, yeah, that's why they have that extra ruling where it's like online content is not rated by ESRB because, again, that's such an anomaly. It's like you can't exactly gauge it. You know what I'm saying?
People are thinking it's going to be Quake 2, the 25th
Quake?
anniversary.
In my server?
Yeah, Quake. In fact, it can be a Quake remaster or collection.
I love how
for
Minecraft has a
Apparently, Windows 11 is going to
is
run
it?
Android apps. That's
Really?
pretty useful.
What is it?
Yeah, I'm watching like this like video right now, like they're talking about and stuff. But I like my thing is about with any new operating system,
Always.
it's better to wait a year because not everything you're using is gonna work on Windows 11. So
Yeah.
I never understood like aside from the free upgrade, it's like okay, cool, you got Windows 11. Now you gotta like wait for everything to be running on it. You know, now it's a rat race to get
The
everything.
only way
working
to
on
really use like
Windows
Android
11.
apps on your computer is to have either emulation or using
through
your
emulation.
your phone companion, but even that is a little bit like a mess.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. Like when I was watching like all this like Windows 11 stuff where you guys were talking, like I like how they talk about like this all this productivity and shit, and it's just like I love that I turn all that crap off. Like everything you think it's gonna be useful, but you know you have like Google and workspace and things like that, and it's just like yeah, this is nice and all, but I don't
I
need
think
it.
if anything, uh if you're able to use Android apps, I wonder if those little Android games, those little, phone games that you have that you constantly have to tap the screen, you just activate a macro and be like, oh, here you go. It's so much easier to do on your computer.
Isn't it?
I think yeah. Like much like with anything really. Just wait a year or wait until like the beta testing, the day one patches, the day zero patches goes through, and then
Yeah.
I can't wait for
And then wait
yeah.
for the
YouTube
reviews to
videos.
come out.
The video is going to come out to be like how to properly optimize your operating system for gaming, because you'll be surprised like when you just install Windows 10 or
so
any of them,
poorly
there's so much
optimized.
shit running in the background you don't need. You got to turn all that crap off. So I'll wait for that eventual video to come out and be like, all right, cool, then I'll get Windows 11 if I could get it.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna give it up for free. They have to.
Yeah, they're probably
No,
gonna
I mean,
give it
like-
up for free.
No, I'm talking about like the
Oh,
technical,
okay.
like,
All right,
requirements.
all right.
Oh.
I see what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
You're talking about that TPM 2.0. That's what it's requiring. Is that
Get ready to
TPM 2.0
upgrade
in
your
order for you
computers
to
or just
run
buy a
it.
new one, cause Windows.
Yeah, get ready to just throw yours into a dumpster fire and then pull it out and it'd be brand new.
Damn it, that's a good point. No, now I gotta wait out from buying a new computer.
Yeah, but it's
until
gonna be a
after
while
Windows
before they
11
be
comes out.
like probably like 2 years, where they say, hey, you should really start going into our new OS, and then like another year will pass and be like, hey, it's free, and then another year after that it's like, hey, I don't care what you have, if it does not end with an 11, I don't give a hoot. And then obviously they're just gonna stop supporting it and the old OS, and yeah, so I think one.
Yep.
What? No, go ahead.
Well, I think
Okay, I think more
no,
than
I was just gonna
anything,
let you
it's
finish up
it's
what you're saying.
well, obviously they're going to have to really make this an interesting sell for a lot of people, because now since the world is becoming a little bit more connected, even more so with technology and computers and through the internet. Windows 11 is going to have a pretty high bar to meet, because again, much like the other iterations, the previous iterations of Windows prior to 10, people got used to what they had, and now they're going to have to come out with a much more smoother, a much more UI friendly, a much more user friendly OS, and it's gonna be what it is. And then what? Like I think a year later, a couple months later, Mac OS is gonna copy whatever the heck the new freaking Windows 11 is gonna have. So it is what it is.
Oh man,
It is what it is. I honestly don't know why you have an iPhone, Kenny, but I hate your guts for having that. I hate your gut.
Go ahead.
I hate you.
Hate me all you want. I like my blue bubble.
I hate your
chats.
guts. I hate your guts
Hell yeah.
so much. I'm gonna rearrange them.
Ooh.
I like when people say like, "Oh, I gave this girl my phone number, and then she responded back with a green bubble." Shame. I used to like her too.
That's right. I did see stuff like that.
No, I don't care about what the chats look like. I like the
You did say you-
simplicity
You
of-
like your blue bubble.
Yeah, I was joking around. Because that's what people
Oh,
say
yeah.
when they get iPhones. What I like is the fact that I don't have like a million choices and have to pick through all these different Android versions and have all these different sort of configurations with Android, and I can
Yeah, I
just
get
pick
that.
one and be done.
Why are you using Windows, kid?
Hey, well, you know what, man? I knew what I wanted then because I.
Get you.
You get fucking debated.
I think more than anything, like,
Danny, don't make me think about myself like this, man.
great. Now Kenny's gonna speak in, hey, storage device is full.
I'm a speaking
Isn't that
wingdings.
crazy?
What are you talking
Wingdings is
about?
like an actual like meme font that if someone says, "Yeah, you can use whatever font you want to give me a report or whatever," and then just Wingdings like, "This is not what I meant."
I can't wait for like when society, like when humanity just completely crumbles. Like there's gonna be some genius be like, "Hey guys, what if I like wrote like the history of mankind through like with
Through
wingdings?" And then
wingdings?
some alien is gonna be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Why is it all hands?
If they
I
even
don't
know what hands
understand. Well,
Assuming they even have. Oh shit! I looked up the wingdings fucking font. Like, okay, we got scissors.
Wait, the
hand,
OK hand? That's
smiley
racist.
face oh jeez, this. That's racist. All right, so that's gonna be the segregated chapter.
I don't
Okay,
like this
got it.
arc of the anime.
Yeah,
Oh
it was
my
a really
lord.
dark time. The source material was just not reliable. I get it.
wingdings are the original emojis.
I love the how
That's
they'll
all
throw
I can
emojis
say.
and Wingdings as well. What a meme format, dude. I freaking love it. I think more than anything,
Oh my god, they have an Undertale one.
That's why all right, so that's why like the whole description of this video is gonna be typed in wingdings. That's gonna be the ARG. Like
Dude,
the final
straight
step
Chad.
is to translate wingdings.
can't wait to hear this
Straight
on
Chad.
Twitter.
You can't put that in Google Translate though.
Go to freaking Microsoft Word and do that. Oh, did they?
Damn it, they patched it out.
Oh, you scared me, dude.
No, I'm
you actually
joking.
scared
What if they did?
You spooked me a little.
I'm
You
not gonna lie,
spooked
I'm
me
not
a
gonna be
little.
able to sleep well tonight. How am I gonna send my Xbox
I'm scared,
360
Dutch.
messages without wingdings?
I'm scared.
How do I translate to I fucked your
It's
mom
just
in
the
wingdings?
OK symbol with a pointing arrow towards it. With a pointing finger towards it.
What if you like write down your murder confession to a
Dang.
wingdings?
Suicide letter's gonna be lit.
Oh shit!
Gangs ain't gonna like that. Wing, this is so funny, dude. Holy crap.
Oh man, they actually have a
Oh,
wingdings
on Google?
translator. No, if you look it up, one of Google's spiders found it.
Okay.
All right. Well, now that we got through the translation, the praise of wingdings, I think we should go ahead and call it a
That's
day. Folks.
A-okay.
How's that sound?
Papi. Oh,
No.
we're gonna be here forever.
No.
Yes.
All right.
I don't wanna be here forever. Oh my god, he just wrote a wingdings. I hate your guts.
Kenny, where's my
Great, now all these under
where's my
Great,
child?
now all these
responsive
Undertale
wingdings?
freaks are gonna come out here saying, Dr. Gaster speaks in hands.
Oh no!
Quick, end the podcast before they come.
Yeah, we got it. We have to end this. We're gonna have to end this before they start coming out of the woodwork and coming out of holes and shit. All right. Alrighty then. Thank you so much for listening to the DKM podcast with your boys Danny, Marcos, and Kenny. We went into tangent of wingdings. Kenny, stop typing wingdings. I'm trying to end the fucking show. I'm seriously gonna translate that shit.
You
I'm
probably
gonna
threw
figure
in
out what
the
fuck
N
he
word.
said.
Oh no, I definitely didn't.
That's the gamer
He
word.
said some naughty words. I get it. All right. Anyways, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for listening to the DKM podcast. As you guys know, you can always watch us on YouTube, listen to us on Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, wherever you have your streaming services. We still haven't gotten through the Apple Podcast channels yet, but you know, after today's episode, don't hold your breath. It's probably going to take a while, but we'll wait and see for that. If you haven't yet, you also have a Discord server that you could join. We'd love to have you on. You know, we could, engage with the conversation, talk to the co-host, maybe suggest some topics, get some guest suggestions, things like that. We really love to have you guys there and build a community. If you haven't yet, also follow us on twitter.com because we do have a twitter.com at DKM podcast at twitter.com. I'm saying twitter.com on purpose. And definitely follow us there. That's where we keep posted if anything happens and when our new episode drops. So definitely follow us there. And I think that's pretty much all we got to say, folks. Have a good one. Stay safe. And see you until next time.